Kia ora e tiwi, ko Jayson Herewini tēnei. Today I want to talk about something I've been learning and applying in my own life. And that's the idea of positive intent as a relational skill. Now, this all came about because of my breakup, and miscommunication, etc. And so it's pretty simple, but when you actually apply it, it can completely change how you handle conflict, communication, and even your own emotions. And what I've noticed is this. When someone says something that's hurtful or, does something that doesn't sit right with you, our mind tends to move fast, and we don't just hear something, we attach a meaning to it. In other words, we hear something and we make it mean something else. And so because we're making it mean something else, we think that they're being intentional with what they've said or what they're doing that's hurtful towards us. And that's how fast our brain works. And more often than not, though, when we go into that intentional hurtful space, we tend to assume the worst. And so I started asking myself when that happens to me, why am I reacting the way I'm reacting to what was said and, what actually happened? Or am I reacting to what I think it meant, or did they intend to hurt me? Or did I interpret it another way? So I asked myself some of those questions, and because your brain can think faster than your voice, it gives you a bit of breathing space. And what I realized is this: a lot of conflict doesn't come from what was said. It comes from the meaning that we attach to it. And when we believe someone was being intentional, spiteful, or disrespectful, our reaction tends to escalate, And so in that, I suppose, that silence moment, and it happens pretty quickly, there's a moment, just a small moment, where we feel something shift inside us. And if we don't slow it down, that feeling then turns into a reaction. And so the trap is this, we're assuming negative intentions straight away. And what we do, or when we do that, I should say, we get defensive. Like, we can get angry, we can shut down, or we can go on the attack. And once that happens, the conversation is no longer listening to understand, where it becomes a protection thing. We get into this fight or flight mode where we feel we have to defend our position, and it becomes about protection after that. And so I've caught myself doing that, where I'm hearing something, taking it the wrong way, and making it mean something else. And then I'm reacting before I actually stop to try and listen to understand what was meant by that comment or by that statement or whatever. And when I look back, it wasn't always intentional. Sometimes it was just miscommunication. I could have been, undercrapped myself, and, when you're not feeling right, etc., when your partner's talking to you and she says something, you just react. You don't mean to react. It's just that at that time, your emotional headspace just wasn't in that space to receive that type of communication. So what I'm practicing now, and I'm applying this now, and I've called it how to apply positive intent. And I'm not doing it blindly. I'm not ignoring my feelings, but I'm creating just enough space before I react instead of assuming. And because I'm creating that space, I'm starting to become curious. And what that looks like for me is pretty simple. If something doesn't sit right, I pause and I say something like this: hey, look, can you tell me a little bit more about what you meant by that? Because this is what I heard, and this is how I feel, because this is what I took it to mean. Was that your intention? And I've come to realize that just by asking that one, saying it that way, man, that changes everything, So when you apply positive intent. It doesn't mean that you're ignoring how you feel, and it doesn't mean that you talk yourself out of being hurt. It just means you can be hurt and still, still stay grounded enough to understand what actually happened. And you can hold two things at once. You can feel hurt and be open to understanding the other person's intention. And so for me personally, that's maturity. That's about self-control. And that there can help you as a game changer. Is pretty much what I'm saying, So for me, here's the truth. Intention doesn't mean or erase the impact. Just because someone didn't mean to hurt you, it doesn't mean you weren't hurt either. But when you apply positive intent, you remove unnecessary layers, assumption stories, resentment that builds up over time, and you deal with what's actually real. And when you do this consistently, your relationships change. There's less escalation, misunderstanding, there's more clarity, you become more grounded in your communication, and most importantly, you stay in control of your emotions and you can stay in control of yourself. And so for me, and I guess because I'm coming out of the fire of my breakdown in my relationship, and it's part of my healing process. And I guess for me, because I am improving myself so that my next wahine, she deserves better than my last. And so my last doesn't deserve that. And I'm not being negative towards my Scorpio ex-Pisces. I'm just facing the facts there. That ex-Pisces, my ex-Scorpio, I should say. She wasn't a Pisces, she was a Scorpio. But that Scorpio woman, if it wasn't for how close I got to her, I wouldn't be able to have this aha moment today. And now that I've had these aha moments, I deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be miserable. I deserve to be happy, and this next person that I meet probably came from a lying, deceitful relationship like I did, And so that person there is probably like me, doing the emotional work to heal herself, and by healing herself, she will offer up to me what she didn't offer up to her previous partner, and I will offer up to my new partner what I didn't offer up to my Scorpio ex. And so when I think about it in that context and this positive intent, for me that's been a big shift. I'm not reacting immediately. I'm not assuming the worst now. I'm just creating space and choosing to understand first. Doesn't mean that I'm weak. It actually makes me more emotionally grounded and solid. And I'm sharing that with you because I am applying these tools in my communication with my children. In particular, one of my children, we've got a fragmented relationship. And so I'm applying these tools here. And it's helping me in my communication with my child. Well, my young person, I should say, because she's a young adult now. She's not a child anymore. She'll always be my child, but she's a young adult. And so, as a result of communicating better with my daughter, how I respond in my communication is making a big difference. And this positive impact relational skill has come out of my breakdown in my Scorpio relationship, and out of that I'm applying the positive side of that towards my children. And so, yeah, there we go, brothers. If this resonates with you, drop a comment below, because I'd be interested to hear how you handle your moments, and if you're on your own journey like this. And feel free to subscribe to my channel and walk alongside me, and let's awhi one another through these difficult times, especially if you've just come out of a relationship. and especially if that relationship moved on pretty quickly, like my Scorpio did, my ex-Scorpio. But hey, who's to say that the universe has a plan for everyone? So there we go, fams. Feel free to leave a comment and follow me if you like my content. Kia ora.